Hello, it's so good to have you here with us today. Welcome all 131 subscribed attendees for this session. Thank you for investing your time in us. We appreciate it. I'm Silvia Martins, CEO and co-founder of Five Validation, a health tech to B2B companies focused on validation, mainly for biopharma and medical devices industry. This event is a kind of a roundtable with very special guests. So we are here today to bring some insights about challenges of SAP validation for life science companies. It may be hard for a highly regulated company convert or migrate or even start with SAP S for HANA. I'm sure working together, we can add value to the attendees who are here today with us. This event is multidisciplinary, so the idea is sharing this event into 5 topics. By the implementing point of view, Emerson Vieira from DXC Technology will talk a bit about intelligent migration. Welcome, Emerson. Thank you for being here. Can you say hello?
Hi, Silvia. Good to be here with you, and thank you for the opportunity to share our experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When you have an ERP project, we need to pay attention to the interface. To talk about it, we will have Rafael Schimmer from SPI Integradora to talk about CSV and the 4.0 pharma journey. Welcome, Rafael. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Silvia, for organizing this event. Hope that it's a good opportunity to share knowledge.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Rafael. By the final client point of view, we will have a very special trio, Nicola, Darko, and Mila. This key team from non-colloid scope team is here to give you priceless advice. Thank you, Nicola, for being here.
Yes. Thank you, Silvia. We are glad and we want to thank you for the invitation. And we are waiting for this meeting.
Thank you, Nicola, for being here. Thank you, Darko, for being here.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to have you, everybody, here today. I'm honored with your presence, everybody.
Thank you. And thank you, Mila, for being here.
Thank you, Silvia, for inviting us. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. When it comes to ERP implementation, a project manager is key to be successful, right? So we invited Rubens Fernando from NEC Group to present his tips from management point of view. Unfortunately, he's not available to present it. However, he let me know it in a good advance. So he supported me to replace him in this presentation. I will do my best to make his roles in this event. Thank you, Rubens, for preparing your presentation and give me some tips to present your topic in your place. And finally, validation is a key subject that needs to move forward together the project because we are talking about life science companies. A successful implementation needs to migrate in production environment with operation qualification report or a similar document issued, allowing the team to go live. So I will talk about the benefits of paperless validation. And before we start, let me tell you how it is going to work regard to questions. We are going to have the speaker's presentation that will last around 8 to 10 minutes each one. While the presentations are running, you can start and type your questions in Q&A session, question and answers session. There is a button here in Zoom too. We'll have after some free time to answer your questions after all presentations finished. Well, let's get started. So I invite Emerson Vieira from DXC Technology. Emerson is graduated in Business Administration from FEA USP. He has been working in SAP ecosystem for over 20 years, and he has helped companies from various segments in this digital journey with SAP transformation solutions for conversions to SAP HANA platform, move to cloud, e-procurement, customer, and user experience. He has been working at DXC Technology since 2014, currently as SAP Pre-Sales Leader for Latin America at DXC, being expert in solution design for complex digital transformation projects, especially S/4HANA migration implementation projects and cloud solutions. Welcome, Emerson. It's now with you.
Thank you, Silvia. I would like to start with a very quick introduction of DXC technology. DXC is an American company, and we are listed in the New York Stock Exchange. We have more than 130,000 employees worldwide, and we have presence in more than 70 countries. Regarding digital transformation, we have a very consolidated experience in the SAP practice worldwide. DXC provides a full spectrum of SAP-based solutions to help customers worldwide extend their ability to quickly respond to market dynamics, simplify operations, and minimize the disruption, risks, and costs of enterprise solution. From the digital transformation perspective, which has been especially my focus, as you said, in the last few years, DXC has been delivering approximately nearly 85 S/4HANA projects worldwide. The question I would like to answer is why enterprises are undertaking a digital transformation journey? Well, the answer is that companies who are effective at using a digital technology for their business strategy, those companies perform better. Well, if you want to be the leader in your industry, you should have digital technology. Organizations that are more effective using digital technology are more likely to be better than their competitors on business performance factors. On average, their time to market is better. They can pivot faster when disruption happens. Their customer experience is superior and their operational efficiency is higher. As a result, both revenue growth and profitability are higher. As well, they can respond faster to market dynamics, which allows them to take advantage of new opportunities or mitigate risk as they need. Companies need to take advantage of digital technology to achieve superior performance. And we see some key factors contributing to better performance. Collaboration, mindset to technology implementation, digital technology that advances their business strategy, and leverage of cloud technologies, and the maximization of data insights in your enterprise. And how can DXC support customers in this digital transformation journey? Well, for those customers of SAP installed base, I mean those that are already running, for example, the ERP ECC, we understand, for those customers, we understand there is a first phase of preparation, or you can call it an assessment. In this phase, you need to make a roadmap definition. And by that, I mean you can specify all the steps that you need to follow in order to get the digital transformation. We see some dimensions that need to be evaluated in one roadmap for digital transformation. Those dimensions are, for example, the data migration, customizations, business processes, the technology, if you are going to be on-premise or cloud, and people management. As a result of those dimensions evaluations, we see that some questions that are very common with CIOs need to be addressed before starting to execute the digital transformation project. Some questions like, what is my project approach? Should it be a greenfield or a brownfield? And I apologize, let me explain. A greenfield should be a brand new implementation of S/4HANA. And a brownfield should be a system conversion of your old system. Or is there an alternative? I'm going to talk a little more about this alternative in a few minutes. Just wait. Another question, should I keep my system on-premise or move to cloud? What should I do with my customizations? You know, some companies have implemented SAP ECC a few years ago, a few decades ago, maybe. And that time, some customizations were done, and the user got used to this customization. Is there an alternative? What are the benefits for the business of the S/4HANA migration? And one last question, which is very important. What budget should I ask to be approved? the business case is really important for those companies. And we understand that all those questions should be answered before starting your transformation project in the first phase of assessment. Once you are comfortable with those answers, we can go to the second phase, which is effectively to run the transformation and migration to S/4HANA. Okay, and in this second phase, when you effectively do the transformation of your system, our experience says that there are items that are extremely important that you should be concerned, and we can bring some accelerators for your project. We have the data migration and the custom code remediation. Well, for data migration, you should consider that some features like a near zero downtime might be required if you have a very large database during the conversion, okay? Besides the near zero downtime, some other aspects might be considered in data migration. Remember a few minutes ago when I was talking about the project strategy, the greenfield and the brownfield. Now it's time to consider a hybrid solution for your landscape. By using a solution for selective data migration, you can consider a hybrid approach. For example, if you have some business process running very close to best practices, you can migrate them as is. However, if other business process requires some changes like data cleansing, back to standard, and changes to your business process, you can consider for those a greenfield approach. It means that with the selective data migration solution, you don't have to choose one or other. The best word, you can choose both at the same time. So you can choose for one business process to do a greenfield and for other business process to do a brownfield. So this is a hybrid solution that we call. Another aspect of the digital transformation project is how to deal with customizations that you have in your ERP. How to deal? Well, the first step, you should do a remediation for those customizations. And we understand that nowadays we have some tools that do this automated custom code remediation, and they can accelerate your S/4HANA migration and mitigate the risks of your project. You can consider as well to do an analysis of your custom code remediation. Actually, we have worked with a client a few months ago, and we made analysis of their custom code, and we brought in some insights that, for example, you have like 10% of your custom code has not been used for the last 12 months. It's important information. Another information, do you know that 2% of your custom code, they are exact clones of standard SAP codes? It's not required. You don't need to keep those information. So in summarizing, we understand that selective data migration and automated custom code remediation should be good answers to your digital transformation journey. So now, what are you expecting to start this digital transformation?
Emerson, your presentation was quite interesting, mainly when we talk about how many data or how many custom transactions need to be migrated, right? So we need to select what we need to do, right? Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have some additional information? Is it good? Yeah?
No, it's good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Emerson. Thank you. It was quite interesting. While our audience is asking questions in our QA session here in Zoom, I'd like to invite Rafael Schimmer from SPI Integradora. Rafael is postgraduated in Industrial Automation by Poly USP in the bachelor's degree in Information System with a solid technical background of 19 years dedicated to the development and implementation of ERP, MIS, LES, WMS, track and trace systems, cloud solutions, system integrations, and applications of wireless technology. RFID and Industrial Internet of Things, IIoT, for industrial process transformation, deep knowledge of the main global software and hardware platforms for systems and industrial automation. Managing partner of SAP responsible for the company's digital area. Welcome, Rafael. It's now with you.
Thank you, Silvia. I will start to share my presentation. I prepare a couple of slides just to put everybody on the same page. As Silvia was telling, I'm a director here in SPI, and we are going to talk about a little bit of computerized system validation and the Pharma 4.0 journey. So SPI is a Brazilian company. We work to combine the technologies of the Industry 4.0 to contribute to our customers' success. Here I have a few numbers about what we have been doing in the pharmaceutical or life sciences segment. We work in other segments as well, but I try to bring here some information like the number of projects that we work on, starting from last year, 41 projects. We have at least 54 experts on pharmaceutical segment, and we are a company that is 30 years in the market. We work with digital technology, all the information, all the solutions regarding information solutions. We work also with automation and with robotics. These are the three areas that we work here in SPI. Here are some of the products that we normally deliver to the pharmaceutical segment. So we have consultancy services, MES implementation, track and trace systems, SAP integration, S88 batch control systems, SCADA and PLC implementations for process and for HVAC, robotic cells, and some retrofit for packaging machines especially. We have here some of the customers of the life sciences segment that trust in SPI and that we have been working for the last couple of years. But let's start talking a little bit more about what we can consider Pharma 4.0 and how we can achieve. You guys maybe have heard about this term that have been used, and maybe one of the key questions that are being asked is, how can I achieve this Pharma 4.0 scenario, and how can I use the number of technologies that we have available nowadays in a scenario that is highly regulated? So what are the impacts to use this kind of solutions or this kind of technologies in the regulated scenario? So normally the big question is, I like to use this Alice and Cheshire Cat dialogue to emphasize some points here. So Alice was asking for a way to get out of that place, and the Cheshire Cat asked her, it depends on where you want to go. And she answered that it doesn't care much of where to go. So then the cat told her that it doesn't matter which way to go. So it doesn't matter which way to go. So if you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter which way to take. So we need to make decisions. We need to analyze. We need to make sure that we are taking the right decisions. And there is also a guy that is my partner here in SPI, that he normally tells us that assuming the future as a continuation of the past is extremely risky. So we need to do something about these movements and these new technologies that are coming. And probably in Germany, the guys from Acatech are the ones that created this matrix, where they try to put a little bit of how we can proceed, or how can we move in this journey of transformation. So they created here 6 steps, and the first 2 steps are the digitalization steps, where we have the informatization, we stop to use paper and we start to use informated solutions. Then we can move to the connectivity. We can connect one step of the process to the other, and we can start to have interfaces between at least two systems. But in fact, for them, we are in Industry 4.0 when we achieve the visibility. We have the monitoring ability and to understand what is happening at that time in a corporate level. So we have the information available for everybody. When we start to store this information and analyze it, we can move to the transparency, that we can understand why something is happening. Then when we use some statistics, we can move to the predictive ability to be prepared for what will happen. This is something that moves forward. And in the end of the day, we can go to the adaptability where we can have an autonomous answer. We can have self-optimization with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So these are for them, and I think that it's very important for us to understand. It's a clear path to move forward and to start to adopting technology. But of course, we can use these technologies, or we can follow the steps of these maturity level in at least three ways of integration. We have the vertical integration that takes care about everything that happens inside of the company. So when we integrate our business, our ERP with our operation, our automation layer, this is the vertical integration, and we normally have a paperless company as a result of this integration. So it's something very important. But we also have the end-to-end engineering integration. It's something where we integrate our research and development with our customer. So it's something that goes out of our control. And normally, what is the result of this integration is the development of new products. Okay. And then we have also the horizontal integration that where we take care of the supply chain. We integrate our suppliers, our factory as a member of the supply chain, and the point of sales or the distribution and stuff like this. So when we look to this scenario, we see that there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of work to do to come in the end of the day to an integration, or to at least these three types of integration. And of course, it will require a lot of effort, a lot of money, and it's important to define which way we can go, because of course, it is very difficult to achieve and to conduct projects in this three axes of integration at the same time. So I normally suggest that we take into consideration to start with the vertical integration, and there is a standard for it. We are talking about ISA 95. That is a standard for the integration for vertical integration. This is something that started to be developed in the latest 1990s and starting of year 2000. So it defines layers of solutions, of softwares, of technologies. So in here on level 4, we are talking about mainly of the ERPs. That's what our colleague from DXC already talked about us, about the importance to have these implemented and updated. And we also have the automation layer where we produce the products, where we have the control of the manufacturing of our products. And the main thing that we have here in the middle is the manufacturing operations management or manufacturing execution systems. That is the integration layer between these two worlds. It's something that is very important to consider. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to move forward in the Pharma 4.0 journey. If we don't establish this communication, we will keep doing the things that companies are doing in the past, like using paper or printing a production order or a receipt in the ERP and then producing and take notes on the paper and giving it back. So it's something that it's very difficult to manage. It's difficult to handle, especially when we are talking about a regulatory segment as the life science is. So it's very important to consider to have this layer of solution here in the middle between the ERP and the production and the automation layer. So MES or MOM solutions come to help on the process of the regulatory environment. There are good automated practices related to this, the importance to have this information digitalized. So it's something that it's very reasonable to take a look and to understand. Of course, here in this layer, we don't have only the MES, that is a solution for the manufacturing itself, but we can also take into consideration the laboratory systems. That is something that has a potential of a lot of integrations as well, and this needs to be considered. We also have the logistic execution systems that are important for the warehouse and to fulfill the production lines, for instance. And so all the internal logistics of the company and solutions to provide this kind of functionality and integration are very important in the Pharma 4.0 scenario. And of course, if we have this in place and if we have this fully integrated and validated, we will have the opportunity to have very detailed analytics that will help us to make good decisions, and in the decision process we will make the decisions based on data and not based on our feeling or on the feeling that an experienced employee has. So it's something that it's very important. Just to give you two quick examples of cases. One of them is for a large customer that we have here in Brazil. This is a customer that we are working together with DXC, and the main goal of them is to digitalize their process with a MES solution. So all the way in the spans and the attendance of CFR 21 Part 11 and regulations that we have in Brazil, because their main goal of this customer is to start exporting their products for the US market. So they adjusted their production process and implemented technology solution to help them to have the process registered, detailed, with track and trace, with traceability, with genealogy, to pass through all the inspections that they may receive. And there is another customer here in Brazil that is focused on the vaccine production that they are using for the new assembly that they have, the new facilities that they have, and they are having all the control of the production batches and the way it dispenses inside an MES solution, integrated with the ERP as well, to keep the data organized and safe, to pass through all these to all the inspections that they pass through to have the product available for the customers. So these are the key topics that I would like to bring to you guys. Hopefully it was helpful, and of course we are open for questions in the end. Silvia, I'm giving it back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rafael. Your presentation was very engaging. Now I'd like to invite our Alkaloid Scope team, especially Nicola Dimovsky. Nicola developed his career mostly in IT&T, extensive experience in the introduction of innovations and technology, especially in coordinating the managing projects for both the business and the IT aspects. Several large and more complex projects have been implemented, upgraded, and supported by Nicola. PKIS, ERP, BMS, DMS, CRM, SAP ERP, rollouts in 5 companies, SAP migration in S/4HANA, LIMS, serialization in Europe, and MIS. Head of IT Alkaloid AD, the most famous Macedonian pharmaceutical company. I also would like to invite Darko Atanasowski. Darko is a mechanical engineer with a Master of Science in Project Management and more than 12 years of experience in pharmaceutical quality assurance. Member of the Contamination Control Society of North Macedonia, and soft skills trained in leadership and validation management. QA validation coordinator at Alkaloid AD, responsible for organizing and coordination of equipment, production facilities, computerized system, package, cleaning, and the transport validation as well. And I invite Mila Palamidovska. Mila is bachelor in mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, and the management department with more than 10 years of experience in quality assurance, 5 years in pharmaceutical industry, coordinator for quality assurance, computer system validation, and the IT department, taking part of the complete process of computer system validation in order to meet the quality standards and adhere to the pharmaceutical CGMP, working on ensure that integrity, understand of GAP5, risk-based approach to validation, GXP, and the computer system in support of GXP compliance. Welcome, Nicola, Darko, and Mila. It's now with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvia. Mila Palamidovska speaking. 2 years ago, we conducted remote validation for the most important software solution used for work and data management in our company, the SAP system. But before we speak about this topic, I will first quickly introduce our company, Alkaloid. Alkaloid from Skopje. Just a second, the presentation. You can see it, right? Alkaloid from Skopje, North Macedonia, is a shareholders company which is nearly 9 decades rapidly growing with over 2,500 employees and 21 Alkaloid subsidiaries worldwide. We have been operating in the field of manufacturing drugs, cosmetics, chemical and botanical products. We are spreading our sales network in over 30 countries on 2 continents, and aside from our company motto that is health above all, we also have recognizable brands like Cafetin, Analgin, Bekutan, good nature products with product placement even in the USA. We are also a socially responsible country, and we promote good health with our involvement in handball league with our handball team, Alkaloid, and as well as chess with our European champion and vice champion titles. We are additionally involved in science, student scholarships, university supports, which broadens our motto and adds another dimension with the addition, people above all. Our IT department was first formed almost half century ago in 1975 with its first mainframe of 1.5 million. Since then, we are continuously developing, growing, upgrading, transforming, and going strong and in the technological race that is becoming our everyday lives. We have highly trained IT staff, dedicated professionals that cover the needs and support of Alkaloid very advanced and digitally demanding business users. This is the reason why we have established different levels of support. We have 0 and 1 in-house level and level 3 vendor support. Our services are mostly on-premise, but given our flexibility, we always stand forward the optimum solution for our needs and capabilities. All of our on-premise services are based on carefully selected top-of-the-line equipment, for which we tend to future-proof and have backups. Our computer system validation strategy is straightforward and following GAMP and FDA guidelines, and we tend to have all of our computerized system validated. On the subject at hand, we were facing a great challenge conducting remote validation on our key software solution used for everyday work and data management, the SAP system. And it was very challenging at the beginning, but due to the ongoing COVID pandemic situation, we were in a way forced to try the remote validation with 5 validation. And surprisingly, it was a great experience for us. I will let the IT director of Alkaloid, Nicola, to continue and explain everything about the SAP. software and the validation.
Okay, thank you, Mila. You hear me, Mila? Okay.
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just to inform that from 2006 we use till 2006 we use our internal in-house ERP system, which we were replacing with SAP ERP system. Implementation of this project SAP ERP was during 10 months, and starting from September 2006 till July 2007, so 10 months implementation. The initial implementation was performed with joint forces of Alcaloid's team with the support from our partner B4B from Croatia, plus validation partner Compliance Control from the United Kingdom. For this project, we should know that validation for the pharma companies are must too. So we must go with two projects in parallel. First implementation and second validation. We are going with the Big Bang project. Why? Because it cost less, period was shorter, it's most efficient, and for us was much better to go with Big Bang in this project instead step by step. It's not all, because after that we plan to go further with another modules. Few years later, in 2014, we add another new module, human capital management. So at that period, we have 7 modules: finance, controlling, material management, warehouse management, sales and distribution, planning, production, plus quality management, and on the end, human capital management. But that's not all. Because in addition, the challenge never stopped, and we had performed rollouts for 5 of our daughter companies, and every of this rollout was with duration of 3 months. Later, fast forwarding to the 2020 year, when we performed for the ERP SAP conversion to SAP S for HANA and validation, of course, of the conversion, all project was with duration of about less than 6 months, and we start and in June, how to say, and finish in October for this project. We are going with the Big Bang again project. Why? Because we are going with all 6 companies with SAP. We are going with all modules immediately. Of course, we make deep analyze before the project, and we conclude that it's much better for us to go with the Brown project. So we are going with Big Bang conversion, not re-implementation, and we are going with new equipment, absolutely new equipment, hardware, software, database, operating system, etc. There was not much experience on the subject matter at hand, because it was a quite complex task and with many enormous issues, which led us in a direction to choose the right partners for the migration between ERP and S/4HANA, especially for the validation segment. Guided by our previous positive experience, we went with our ongoing partner B4B from Croatia, but for the validation required in-depth market analysis, bidding, evaluation, and of course communication with the bidders, presentations, etc., etc. On the end, we conclude that the best option was FI validation. This was our first joint project over a great distance, completely online, completely remotely, where we started an entirely remote project. But in the end, the partnership proved to be a complete success, and it was a pleasure to work with our overseas partners FI validation, on which we are definitely counting on future joint projects. Thank you, Mila.
I will take over from here. Mainly, validation is a challenge by itself altogether, but in these modern times, remote validation is not something that is or should be uncommon. That was the case with our collaboration with Five, which was quite a rewarding experience altogether. Today's topic is challenges of SAP validation for life science companies. And initially, I will ask everybody what is the biggest challenge on this topic. In my perspective, the biggest challenge is creating a bulletproof plan and assigning a great project leader for the task at hand. As it is quite familiar, the validation is the final step to computerized system production release. And I trust that all of us present today are quite aware that even though it is quite a big activity, it is mostly formal and it is documenting what we already know, and that is that the system is operational and can be used in everyday life. You will say, why is this said by this stranger? And this stranger will tell you that the main reason we have a success story is that we started preparations much earlier than the project started. And we already had many workshops, extensive analysis, and a plan worked out. You will see a term on the screen, dream team. This dream team was carefully selected and kept motivated to, amongst other things, to motivate the rest of the team. The question is, how big was this team? And the answer is quite simple. It consisted of more than 120 members from 6 companies in total of 4 countries. With addition of the juggernaut-like force from the IT users. These 120 team members were all assigned to the 7 different module teams, of course, appropriately, and all module teams were led by high-level managers. Additionally, these module leaders were coordinated by the project manager. And of course, on the top of the project pyramid was the project sponsor, our beloved CEO. So that put aside, we have compiled a great internal team. And as we said previously, our very own dream team. But what's next? Of course, the extended arm of the law, and that is our partners on this journey. Better yet, our excellent partners, of course, B4B from Croatia, with their consultancy and conversion guidance. And of course, yours truly, Five Validation, who are our hosts on today's journey through the topic on challenges of SAP validation. I will go a step or maybe a few back and give a few words on the biggest challenge on the computerized system validation, not just SAP, but in general. The biggest challenge out there is creating a detailed plan with specific responsibilities. Every task, phase, and activity must be planned ahead and modified appropriately. Yes, project plan schedule is meant and supposed to be modified accordingly. And that's why we had the cutover plan, improvement plan, timely meetings, and briefings on the subjects. The validation on our project was a parallel project in this, as previously mentioned, conversion of SAP. And I must say, I'm grateful it came out as it did. Why is that, you may ask? Well, the experience was quite challenging and it seems like somewhat unreachable, but in the end, I will disagree with myself on this matter. It was quite rewarding, not only because it was successful, but because we had a great collaboration with our overseas partners who came prepared all the way with the extensive validation documentation. If necessary, we can cover the structure of the validation documentation, but let's leave something for some other session or maybe the Q&A section. Even with the greatest challenge, on this phase, the validation, the time difference with the support from our partners, Five Validation, this was almost unexisting obstacle in the whole process. It was more or less like we were in the same time zone, at times even in the same room. In my opinion, this is easily achievable if there is a common goal to be pursued. In the end, As all validations alike, computer-aided system validation follows a defined hierarchy, and this remote, overseas, and time difference challenge we came across was with benefits over the orthodox paper-based validation. I am sure that it is not quite easy to be accepted, but modern times require modern solutions. Thank you for the patience and for the audience.
Thank you so much, Nicola, Darko, and Mila, for your presentation. I'm pretty sure it added value to our attendees. Thank you again. Now I'd like to proceed with the Rubens Fernandez from NEC Group presentation. Rubens is graduated in computer science, has been working for almost 40 years with development, implementation, support, and the management of information systems, mainly ERPs. In the 2000s, worked in system validation projects for multinational healthcare companies, and more recently in a SAP ECC validation project for FDA and Anvisa, in Brazilian multinational pharmaceutical company. So now let me share my screen. Well, we had the opportunity to work together in a validation of SAP system in Group NEC. And before he starts the next company of the group, as a project manager, Rubens prepared some lessons learned to have a software following project. Laura, our validation manager, supported Rubens in this journey. I mean, to make points that would be useful to have in mind for the next project. In parallel, Rubens found an article that brings us 8 challenges regarding to system validation. Rubens concluded that he experienced in real life almost the same challenges the article referred to. If you learn with him, you might have a software project, right? A summary about the main challenges. Challenge number 1, understand the project scope and the purpose. When we talk about scope, it's good when we have a scope that don't change during the project. It's recommended we have at least the main processes defined. Having the main process defined is a kind of a prereq to have the project purpose very clear to all the team involved. For example, prepare the company for FDA approval and the related regulatory requirements. Challenge number 2, using tools to standardize the documentation and its governance and its management. During my presentation, I will be able to show you that FDA recommends it as it GAMP 5 second edition guidelines. Challenge number 3, kickoff meeting needs to be a kind of training in how the team is going to achieve the goals. For this reason, the kickoff meeting needs to be more detailed. Rubin would say more playful. In this way, this training session would take place not only in kickoff meeting. Sometimes we think all the team understood what they need to do. Sometimes they don't. So repeat the training in more hands-on way can help a lot. Personal training in operating SAP and also in software that interfaces with SAP can also support the project to be more assertive. Challenge number 4, plan an adequate time for realization, good internal and external communication as well. So now detailing a bit each challenge. Challenge number 1, a clear and complete scope is mandatory to avoid rework and incomplete risk assessment. 2 different kickoff meetings, a high-level one and a more detailed one, and a good explanation of regulatory requirements that will drive the processes. Go here. The second challenge regards to tools. Documentation standardization from very beginning of the project. It's likely many procedures will require to be reviewed, changed, or created. Rubens recommends to have a daily meeting to pursue this topic and understand who is in each area is responsible for procedures update. Just to remember, it should review approved procedures and users training formally registered are prereq to be approved in the test phase. SOD matrix, the term segregation of duties, helps ensure all the roles are clearly defined in the project. This is the basis for access control tests that are one of the most important parts of the validation study. Use proper software for project task management and the document management, creation, versioning, approval. Try to avoid spreadsheets and other types of unmanaged documents. So now, personnel. Define a multidisciplinary team who specializes in system, business processes, and compliance. It is interesting to follow the real sequence of V model lifecycle. For example, design qualification or design review, as GAMP5 calls it. At the right moment, this document can add a real value to the project. And execution. Senior professionals mean less rework. Functional risk assessment usually take long meetings that last days to finish. And this task, as this task lasts long, managers can think that they can send a representative of his or her area. Sometimes we have some professionals who does not have a power decision or does not know deeply the business processes. In this case, it will mean delay in the real work. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes. A complete URS, user requirement specification, means less rework. A complete, robust, and high-quality function risk assessment means less rework too. Ruben said to me, we need to try not to mitigate the high and medium risk with words. We really need to treat them with a function, access control, double checking, robust documentation, or training. Lack of sponsor commitment is something that needs to be avoided. One point is ignore resistance to change means poor task progress. It is interesting for the leader to ask their staff if they really want to work in this challenging project. It's hard when we have a coworker who is not deeply engaged. Leaders need to try to show the team the advantages of facing an SAP project. This is what I got that Rubens wanted me to speak with you. I personally think these lesson learned are priceless. Now, I'd like to present myself. I'm an electrical engineer with almost 20 years of experience in serving biopharmaceuticals and the medical device companies, training in England in GAMP5 in FDA 21 CFR Part 11, in Germany in SAP validation, and in Denmark in data integrity and data governance. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Fine Validation, a promising company that aims to make compliance faster and simple. Great. So now let me talk a bit benefits of paperless validation. It is important to say that consider paperless validation approach is something. Of course, you have some options in the market, and of course, you can consider as an option to provide software to manage your validations, or consider us to provide the validation services. We have both areas. But the most important is consider paperless validation independently of your choice. So please consider what I will present here as an example of what you can find in the market. Okay, let's go. So one of the most difficult parts in a validation study is to forecast the right balance in the robust content. So now it's possible to count on a software that can bring you qualitative content in the database. There are requirement risk scenarios and test scripts available for a specific SAP project. You can empower your team to carry out the validation study and reduce external labor costs. And you can hire our services, or you can have user or software, and hire your consultant or local service provider you trust. And this is a gift just to show how fast it is to download the library. Of course, we have libraries for many kinds of systems, equipment, utilities, processes, and cleaning validations as well. Yeah. And it is interesting you consider paperless solution that allows item-based approach. This means that each requirement, risk, scenario, specification, test script has its own version control. It means that you can have you can package the items according to each key user, and it also means that you can create a new version of item with no need to reshare the entire validation document again. It is simple. It also helps to carry out validation maintenance, I mean to manage the changes you might have during or after go live. It is interesting you consider a solution that allow you to have all tests, GXP or not, integrated in the same solution. GAMP5 is a good guideline globally used that means good automated manufacture practices. The recent second edition brought an interesting item called Tools Instead of Documents. It says, from a quality and GXP compliance perspective, tools perform an essential role in demonstrating that the system is fit for intended use. Functionality can be traced back to requirements and testing complete. So you can use a validation tool to proceed with your validation study. So now it's clear. Our recent FDA guideline, CSA, that means Computer Software Assurance, has this mention. To use the use of computer validation tools for the assurance of software used in production or as part of the quality system whenever possible. So this is another official source, FDA, that you can use a validation tool to proceed with your validation studies. I strongly recommend that you consider a validation tool that allow you to export the validation documentation in formal PDF format or informal PDF report. It can challenge if you demonstrate your IQ, OQ, and PQ tests in an ALM, a typical test for software development. And the auditor cannot take it as a formal validation study. Remember that GAMP5 guideline brings us in this term. Functionality can be traced back to requirement and testing completed. Actually, you might consider a tool that brings you automatic traceability, including risk scenarios and specification items. You might consider a tool that offers you a real-time update while your team is creating the validation study. We may have here attendees who never heard about us, so it's good to know that 5 Validation had the opportunity to serve 170 clients in more than 1,000 projects. So we really know validation. We serve clients from small to multinational. Go5 was launched in 2019, and since then, 70 clients have partially or totally migrated to the software. We have more than 1,000 validation professionals using the platform. So you can have my team email address or mine. We are at your disposal for one-on-one meetings. Now, let me check if we have question answers. Oh my goodness, we don't have any. Okay, and it's about time. So let me check. Yeah, we don't have it. Okay. Now let's go to the final message. Nicola, would you like to say your last words here? Is everything all right for you?
Yeah, if there are some questions, in that case, I am ready to answer on these questions. Nothing more, nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you so much. Darko, would you like to say something?
I guess we were pretty clear on all subjects, so I would thank you again for the opportunity to participate this webinar. And thank you to all the other participants.
Thank you, Darko. Thank you so much. Mila, how about you? Would you like to say the last words?
Thank you, Silvia, for inviting us. I think we covered everything.
Okay, great. Emerson, would you like to say a final message?
Just say thank you for everybody for joining this event. And I think the message was very clear and how important it is to work with this multidisciplinary team for a good solution for your companies.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Rafael, how about you?
Sure. Just thank you, Silvia, for the opportunity to host us, to host this event. Thanks everybody for attending, and for sure, it's important just to keep in mind that we need to keep moving forward. Technology is coming, and we need to have an answer for all this movement. Otherwise, we will be in a tough situation. So let's keep moving forward in the right way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rafael. I can see that we've run out of time for this session, but definitely we are available for any further questions that you might have. If you would like to have one-on-one meetings with us, please let us know via the mail contact@5validation.com. It was so good to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for being here, for your time, for your attention. We hope this session has been informative. I'd like to thank especially Nicola, Darko, and Mila from Alkaloid Scope, Emerson from DXC, Rafael from SPI, Rubens from Group NEC. A special thanks to Fernando Lietti from DXC for supporting me in this event. My co-workers, Amanda Nogueira, Bruna Barros, João Gomes, Giovanna Peretti, Lilian Ribeiro, Matheus Fukuda, Pablo Rodrigues, and Flávio and Rafael Antonelli. Thank you all again. I look forward to see you soon. Bye.